Hello. Hi guys, another episode of the Cross Trails podcast with me, Christian. Uh what are we February now? Bloody hell. Right. Okay, so one I did get a bit of feedback from last uh episode is that I was talking way too fast. So I'm gonna try and talk a bit slower. Maybe if I talk slower I'll not as and as much. So yeah, I just said them again. Anyway, let's crack on. So yeah, it's another solo episode. I was meant to have a guest, but they pulled out, unfortunately, due to being a parent, which is fair. Not my bag, but you know. Uh, so yeah, we'll have them on soon. I think what I'll do is when I can get a guest on, I'll just record it and just put it out when I can, rather than like trying to do the whole, 1 a month type thing. Otherwise, I'll never have anyone on, and I'd really like to have people on because I have people who do want to come on for some reason. Don't know. I mean, I don't get why you listen to this, let alone people wanting to come on. So there we are. Um, what's happened since then? So last time I was recording, the spine race was still on. I had a couple of people left. Who was it? Kevin Munt, who unfortunately DNF'd. But to be fair, done very, very, very well. But Zuki, he finished and smiling, appeared to be smiling the whole way. Don't know how. He's been putting out little reels of each day on Instagram, sort of sporadically. I think we're up to day 3 now. I think he's posted. So I think he was out there. Was it 6 days? I don't know. Might have to double check that. But yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. That was really good to see. What else has been going on? yeah, this. Oh yeah, this is a bit of a sort of. My granddad died. Um, that was a bit shit. So yeah, my paternal. Well, he's my paternal granddad. Not by blood. He's my paternal granddad by blood. He died in October. I'll be honest, I didn't really give a shit about him. He was a knobhead. I won't go too much into it, but he wasn't too nice to my nan, and then he wasn't the best person afterwards as well. He had a drinking problem, and he didn't really sort of get not over it, but he didn't sort of sort himself out till far too late in his life. My dad, sorry, sort of accepted his apology and sort of helped him towards the end of his days, but I couldn't give a shit, mate. Uh, but Granddad Baz um, worshipped the floor my nan walked on. Like, I don't think a man could love a woman as much as Baz loved my nan. And he's there throughout. He was with my nan before I was born, so he was my granddad. You know what I mean? I've always got that thing of you don't have to be related to be family. I've got brothers I'm not related to. Well, not brothers, but people who I consider family who aren't related to me, or even by marriage. They're just fucking great friends. But yeah, Granddad Baz, bless him. Um, Kind of not seeing him in a while. Not on purpose. So I used to go spend time with him a lot. After my nan died, because he was very lonely. Like I said, he loved my nan so much. And then he just spent all his days at the pub. He wasn't like a heavy drinker. He'd literally go in. I think he'd start the day off with a coffee, read his paper, then he'd have a couple of ales, green ales he used to drink, and then get home for the chase, and that'd be it. That'd be his day. Just go see his mates down the pub, have a couple of pints, and yeah, get home for Bradley Walsh on the chase, and then that'd be his day. And yeah, towards he got quite ill, in and out of hospital all the time. I'd say probably about a year, 2 years ago, and he ended up having to be put in a home just for his own well-being. and that's where he passed. Um, and I'm kind of glad, and I'm kind of, obviously I'm upset he's passed away, but he missed my nan, and I don't believe in an afterlife. I don't believe in any, or religion, or even anything spiritually. I sort of a bleak outlook, but I kind of believe once we're gone, that's it. You lights go off, and that's it. But if there is, I'd like to think he's back with my nan, um, if it's real. Yeah, like I said, I don't believe it, but it'd be nice if it is. But yeah. So his funeral is next. What date are we on now? I keep thinking it's this Friday, but it's not. So it's the 11th of February now, Wednesday. So the funeral's on the 20th of February. It's on a Friday, thank goodness, because we're all going to be quite hungover on the Saturday. I don't know what it is about my family, but we love to get absolutely hammered at funerals. We did for my nan. My nan's funeral. Oh, that was bloody brilliant. It was on Valentine's Day. Can't remember the year. And we we had the funeral and everything. Very, very sad. And then went to the pub where she and my granddad Baz used to go. She loved a sherry with her 80 cigarettes, and um, yeah, we had the wake there. Got a few, got quite merry there. Ended up going to a few more bars. Ended up at someone's house for prees, even though we were already steaming. And now when I say we, I mean like me, my dad, my godfather, one of my cousins, and there was someone else who I can't remember. And then we ended up in, if you know Chester, we ended up in Off the Wall, and then Rosie's. Rosie's is like a nightclub, so that's we were out clubbing in our funeral suits. I remember not getting home till about 7 o'clock the next morning. Absolutely, yeah, regretting decisions. But it was and I won't be that bad because I got 30 kilometers to run the next morning. Quite a mountainous one as well. So I yeah, we'll be getting quite squiffy, I imagine. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, sorry, sort of started on a bit of a downer there. But yeah, that's what's been going on. It's put me in a bit of a shit mood, if I'm honest. Someone at Run Club noticed I've not been myself, and it's, I don't know. I think it's something's been brewing in me to like just be moody about stuff, and then that's just sort of been a catalyst, if you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, that was basically it. Uh, what else has happened? Oh, speaking of spine, the new cut off time, that's interesting. So the spine race, if you didn't know, you've got 168 hours to finish it, which is a long time, but people still get timed out. It's now being put down to 156 hours, and you think, "Ooh, that's quite heavy." But 12 hours taken off the time, and they've said it's going to reduce the average. It's going to reduce on average 443 finishes. Do you think that's a lot of people who are going to DNF? 377 being men and 66 being women. That's yeah, interesting. So is that I'm wondering, is that going to put people off from entering? I mean, it put me off from entering, to be honest. I mean, at the moment I have no intention of doing this spine. I'd love to do like the sprint or the south or north, but not the full. But that would sort of put me off from doing that, I think. But yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. Um, I can't remember the reason what bit behind it, but I get it. I think what they said is it originally it was seen as like, could it be done? But now it's kind of like, can I finish it? It's like, you know what I mean? It's they've kind of, it used to be something that was like, a handful of people used to finish, and now it's like, again, every Tom, Dick, and Harry's finishing it. So, and I get that, because one thing they mentioned, is that the equipment's come on, the clothing's come on, so it's the conditions are still rough, and bloody hell, you should see in the state of some of the pictures I saw. Sean Merriweather, for example, his feet were an absolute bit. But I think they've just sort of seen it as equipment's made it easier for people to finish. So they're like, fuck it, let's make it harder by reducing the time, which yeah, I'm all for it, to be honest. But because we've not really got anything in the UK, I think that's like, sort of like the Barkley Marathon, which is like, most people enter it thinking they're probably not going to finish it, other than like, unless you're doing a backyard, or there is the UK Barkley Marathon, but I don't know too much about that, to be honest, to really talk about it. But yeah, just really interesting. Thinking of running events, the National Running Show. Damn. This was my 5th year going to the National Running Show, and it was the worst. And it seems to be I'm not the only one who thinks that. Too condensed. It's a really popular show, and if you're gonna have that many people going, have it like they've got. I think they rent out 2 halls, but then when you get to like the end of one hall, you can see they've blocked off like half of. So they're only using it a hall and a half. They need to utilize the space more, because my legs were fucking killing it in the day just from shuffling for hours. I mean, I understand that part might have to be used for storing stuff, or for staff or whatever, but they need to, they either need to have less stalls or use more of the space that's not being used. Uh, and one thing that, thinking of stalls, that pissed me off was, why did HelloFresh need like 2 or 3 stalls? And like, why was there about 6 to 8 pet food stalls? Like, I understand people do Canicross and stuff like that, but like, there was so many. It was like, there was Tails.com, there was Bella and Duke, there was some others. And I have a dog, and every time they just ask me, "Do you have a dog?" I just think, "Nah, mate, no, no." Yeah, HelloFresh didn't even need to be there, let alone have 2 stalls. What else was it that annoyed me? Make all the makeup stores. Do you know what? I'd understand if it was like, this makeup is for, you know resisting sweat, or something like that. It's really resistant against liquids or whatever. I'd get that completely, because I know a lot of girls who wear makeup on runs. I have I have no issue with that whatsoever. The issue for me was, unless it's to do with running, why the fuck are you here? Although my friend Ellie did get her eyebrows done while we were there. Um, but she just came, just glad I had spare tickets going. She's not a runner, and she'll be the first to say that. She does heavy lifting, powerlifting, and all that sort of stuff. But she just came for the banter, which was great. Fucking love to see my friend Ellie Gonzaga and my friend Kieran came with me, and Nell and Dom. But yeah, that and what else? The charity people are so pushy. See, this is another thing. I think the charities, like, yeah, I know you need donations and subscriptions and whatever, but for the running show, personally, I would be there more to get people to sign up for races on your behalf, rather than give £5 a month. If I was, say, RSPCA, I'd be approaching people, not saying, "Do you like dogs? Do you like animals?" Or like Greenpeace, "Do you like what was it that Greenpeace said to me? It was something ridiculous, like, would you like this planet to survive? Or it was something really daft. I was just like, if I was a charity, I'd be saying, have you got any races this year? Because you ask a runner that, they want to fucking talk about what race they're doing and whatnot. Straight away, you'd have their attention, you get them chatting. Well, we need people to sign up for, we've got so many places for this race. Would you like to do this one as part of your training? Or, you've not done a marathon before. What about this marathon? Do it on our behalf. You only have to raise, I don't know, they ask for like 2.5 grand, don't they? But I'd do that rather than give us £10 a month, please. So they annoy me. And there was one guy, it was for an injured veterans charity, an absolute dickhead. He said something like, "Do you care about our veterans?" And I said, I literally, I think I just said something like, "Not today, mate." And then he muttered something under his breath. I think he called me a wanker. I don't care if you do think I'm a wanker. You're there as a professional. You're there as a representative of the charity. Act fucking professional. Yeah, so fuck him and the charity. Yeah, really pissed me off. That a lot of things pissed me off there. It was good to see some people. I saw a few people there that I knew, but just as an all, I just thought it was shit. Like, it was shit. There wasn't. How many sock stores did you need as well? And some of them weren't even like running socks brands. They were just like, oh, these socks that have got silly designs. Like, they would last 10k on the trails. Yeah. Uh, what else was there that I didn't like being there? I'm trying to think now. So many electrolyte companies. So many electrolyte companies. I couldn't tell you one of them. Obviously, I'm an ambassador for Voom Nutrition. That's who I'll always use. But I don't mind if I've got just got like a training run and I've been given like the running show. I got some electrolytes and I've not used any yet, but like I might just use them on like a small training run to um so I'm not using up all my Voom, or I might just use it as I've got in from a run. I've sweated more than I would have thought I would have, which is sometimes what I do, and I'll have electrolytes post run. But yeah, there was nothing like innovative. Like last year, there's a Canadian company, and I keep going on at them about to get more presence in the UK. Seven Summit Snacks, they're called, and it's, let me get it up. They're just like chocolate bars, right? But they're really fucking nice, and they're so it's chocolate, functional chocolate they call it. Product info. Um, where are we? Here we go. No, I don't want to save 20% off because I'm not buying any today. Sorry. FAQs. Just so I can sort of give them justice. What is a superfood chocolate bar? Chocolate format bars. Cocoa intense and blended with ingredients on. Doesn't chocolate melt? You bet. To be honest, I've not done a good thing. Something on the website to sort of explain why. Yeah, let's just go on to Everest Energy. Here we go. That's what they got. It's all in American. So you got 16 grams of carbs in each bar. 17% of your daily iron, which helps fight fatigue. 15 milligrams of natural occurring caffeine for sharp focus. So yeah, it's just like you get your carbs and there's other stuff in it. But do you know what? Maybe it's not the best thing for during a race, but do you know what? I enjoyed the actual product. The guys at the store were really nice and engaging. That's also something I found at the National Running Show is sometimes you can tell when the people at the stalls are actually working for the company, or if they're just from what do you call it, like a what do you call it agency. Like who was it? Trek. Trek had a shit stall, and the two guys that were there, bless them, were clueless. My friend who I took, Dom, he's actually in the industry of developing bars for companies and whatnot, and he was trying to talk to them. I think he just sort of gave up. So I think it was at Trek. He was talking to someone. I could just tell, like, but I knew the Trek guys were not that. But yeah, but Voom have released some really interesting products. The Electro tabs, they're cool. They're almost like salt tabs, but I like them. I mean, I don't dislike salt tablets, but I just found that the what you call it, the Voom ones just were nicer. Now let me just get them up so I can do them some anti-cramp chews. There we go. Yeah, Electro Bites anti-cramp chews, and you get them in lemon and lime, which is one of their I'd say one of their signature flavors, and you can also get it in orange Seville or Seville orange. Also, which I really liked this. Was their beetroot boosters. So they got Voom boosters now. Let me just get it up. So they got a sake, come on. Here we go. So it's like a powder you put in with water. It's beetroot and apple, I believe. So it's got like 5 days worth, 5 servings, and you sort of have it 5 days, one a day before you race. It's got all your nitrates. I think it's 500 milligrams of nitrates, 100 milligrams of magnesium, 1 gram of L-arginine. I don't know, 1,000 milligrams. Yes, 1 gram of L-arginine. Sorry, so 500 milligrams nitrates, 1 milligrams magnesium, 1 gram like arginine, however you pronounce it. Beetroot and blackcurrant, not beetroot and apple. Apologise. It'd help if I read this stuff, wouldn't it? So yeah, it's to maximise blood flow for oxygen uptake. So during your races, I've before they've brought this out, I've always swore by beetroot juice. I think I've said this before. I usually buy a big carton of it, and I'll have like a big glass 3 days a day for 3 days before. But yeah, and the other one is the bicarb, which were capsules, I believe. Here we go. Yeah, time release capsules, enrobed formula for improved gastric comfort. There we go. So we got 240 capsules per packet. Already out of stock. Jesus. So yeah, some really interesting stuff coming out from Voom. Yeah, but other than that, nothing really going on. I found at the running show for nutrition. You had, what was it? Cliff Bar just selling short dated stock. What else? Yeah, there was nothing really that sort of piqued my attention. I spend a small fortune there. This year I spent about 50 quid. That was on a jacket, a Ron Hill jacket that I've wanted for a while. And then I spent a tenner on the heck sausages, the chicken rashers. um, so yeah, yeah, a bit poor. Um, Trying to think if there was anything else there that I wanted to bring up, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind talking about it with someone to see how they felt. It was funny because the people I was with, apart from Nell, it was their first time going. So when I sort of asked, like, what did you think? They were like, yeah, it was fine. I was like, it's not. I feel really bad for bringing you here because it's shit in comparison to previous years, anyway. So yeah, maybe next time I'll get someone who's. I'll tell you what is shit as well. I won't go too much into this because it's been ruining my life recently. Is the unaccountability of the people in the fucking Epstein files. It's overtaken my life, um, my algorithm, and my faith in humanity. What is going on? It's yeah. I'm not even going to go into it because I'm just going to start going on a massive rant, and this podcast will go on for about 2 hours. Maybe, like I said, maybe when I get someone on next time, I'll talk about it with them. But I've just lost all faith in humanity. I really have. The only good thing about it is most people are screaming for blood, um, and to bring back the guillotine. I'd say that's the most common census. It winds me up when people are saying, "Oh, you know, what was that woman said? He wasn't a pedophile. He just liked them barely legal." There was someone else. I won't name his name because he's not even worth me mentioning. He said, you know, 15, 14, 16, you're not really a pedophile if they're. That's, oh my God. I'm raging just talking about it. Yeah, so execute them all. That's what I say. Um, yeah. Another thing that's overtaken my life, less bleak, is is a video game called Arc Raiders, um, which I'd like to talk about because it's also a bit about human nature and it's quite interesting. So, is this game called Arc Raiders that I play? It's a third-person open world shooter explorer gathering game. Uh, the world's been taken over by Arc, which is like AI, like robots. You got like drones and stuff like that. All humans live underground, and they have to go topside to get gather resources and whatnot. And you go out armed, and there's other people playing, obviously. Um, and the basis of the game is it's us against them, humans against the Arc. But obviously, people shoot you to get your stuff, the stuff you've gathered, and it's really interesting, right? So the developers are like, that's not how the game's meant to be played, but we do like that aspect of it. So what they do now, and I just think this is really interesting because if you think people are a dick in the game, you've been put in with them for a reason. So it's who you get put like matchmaking. It's not like skill based matchmaking. It's how you play matchmaking. So if you're a bugger for killing people, then you're going to be put in people who go in with the same mindset. I'm super duper friendly. Like I literally just want to help people, heal people, do what I need to do. And now I've been put in with those same type of people, and it's really nice. Um, but then my friend Tom, who's a bit of a bugger, when me and him play together, there's a bit of a mismatch of who we're with, and it's really interesting. And it's like I've had people who I've saved their ass, I've healed them, and then when I've gone to extract, they shoot me while my back's turned and kill me. And I'm just because when you get killed, there's like a bit where you can crawl and maybe get revived or make the extract. And then it's up to them if they want to, just leave you to bleed out or if they're gonna finish you off. So you can like sort of talk to them on the mic and yeah, some people are horrible. I know it's a game, but I think it is um, uh, an unintentional great way of seeing how people actually are, um, who you really are. Like I mean, I don't think people will be like that. Say if the world does go, it's one thing I actually said to Dom at the running show. Sorry, going a bit back off ping pong on topics. One thing I did say to them is, I know the world will go to shit if there's like an apocalypse. There's not going to be like any sort of little settlements or anything like that being built. Do you know why? I was like, watch how people are when there's free samples about, and people were savages at this running show with free samples, and I see it at Costco as well. When I go to Costco, and there's some woman who's just trying to set up, a free sample booth of apple slices, and people are you know, just pillaging as if they've never had an apple before, and it's ridiculous. Or when they're cooking something in the air fryer and people are like waiting, and it's like it's chicken. You've never had chicken before. It's just like, but then I saw it at the running show as well, and then I think it was a few hours in after I said it, and Don was like, "I get what you mean now," and I forgot what I said, and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "How the world's fucked." if it goes to, I said, "Mate," I said, and then this is only valid if you watch Freds. Freds is a BBC film about basically Britain after it's been hit by a nuclear bomb, and the reality of what there's not going to be people who are going to be, oh, I'm going to be a scrap dealer or anything like that. No, no, you won't. You'll probably die of dysentery, or you know, it's yeah. I think Hollywood has glamorized it a bit too much, post-apocalyptic world. But yeah. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I just thought yeah, how people react to free samples and how people are on this game sort of was quite interesting in human behavior. Um, Also, of how people are reacting about those files. But yeah, I need to get someone on to talk about the files. I really do. I just need to talk. But anyway, Olympics as well. We'll go on to the Olympics. No medals for Great Britain as of yet. It is the 11th of February. Um, and yeah, no medals. Kirsty Muir missed a medal by half a point in the women's ski slope style. That was frustrating. Um, she's Scottish. Um, just want to put that out because I always I Team GB is great and everything, but I hate how the British media are with these with these athletes, right? So she's Scottish. If she got gold or any medal, should be British, right? British skier Kirsty Muir wins bronze, blah blah blah. She's Scottish because she didn't win. I hate that. I mean, if I was Scottish, I'd prefer to be called Scottish than British anyway. I'm quite critical of the Britain in general. So yeah, that's how. But I don't know how her opinion is on it. However, I do feel sorry for her missing by half a point. That is really really tough. Also, uh, missing out on the curling as well. That was disappointing. I really thought we had a solid team for the curling. It's been really fun to. I love the curling. I never watch it any other time. Sometimes if it's on TNT, but it used to be Eurosport. Then if I see it's on then, but then I'll watch it. But it's not something I'll go out my way to. All the curling's on tonight. Let's get that on. Other than the Winter Olympics, I'm like, oh shit, curling's on. Um, yeah, I do get into it, and yeah, it was that was such a shame. I thought we had that one in the bag, but yeah, annoyingly, I think Let's have a look at the teams. Norway are currently doing the best. 6 golds, 2 silvers, 4 bronze. Nice. 12 in total. Germany in second place with 3 golds, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze. Sweden, 3 golds, 2 silvers, 1 bronze. Swiss in fourth, 3 golds, 1 silver, 1 bronze. Yeah, fair play to them. It's just annoying now, but whatever. I'm never bothered about who wins the Olympics, like table. It's just more certain sports that I root for athletes in. Like there's like say the 100-meter sprint in the Olympics. Britain, you know, most likely not going to win that. So I tend to go more for the like ones that what they're gonna be good at, if that makes sense. And there's certain sports where I'll root for a certain team as well. Like the swimming, I tend to go for Hungary. Um, I know this is going off topic because it's not the Winter Olympics, but there's just certain things where I'd be like, I want this country to do well at this sport, if that makes sense. Like I said, I don't really have much loyalty to Britain as a country. Um, I have my reasons. The fact I'm not British, but yeah, there is that. But also, I'm just not a big fan of the concept, to be honest. Anyway, let's get off that. My politics is showing. I actually got some questions asked. Got some rogue questions. So my friend Sarah um, messaged me on Instagram and said, "When you do your next, can I ask you some questions when you do your next podcast?" Of course you can. So she sent me 2 questions, and they're actually quite interesting. One, I think the second one, I think I might have touched on before, but I'll go through it again. So the first one was, what is a piece of kit that you used to swear by but don't anymore? And I'm not too sure. And I was trying to think, like, I was looking back at old pictures to see, like, there must be something. But I mean, there's stuff that like I've upgraded, or like shoes. I started off with the Brooks Cascadias, which are still a great shoe, but they're seen as like a beginner trail shoe. And now I sort of wear more Innovates, Hoka, um, and yeah. But again, it's sort of like with you sort of when you get into it, you buy the more entry level stuff like head torches. I sort of just bought a £30 one. I've now got a Phoenix head torch, which is considerably worth quite a bit more. Um, my poles are sort of no, I've still got the same poles. I am looking to upgrade though. So I've currently got the Harrier carbon poles, but these are like the first generation. So they've done me well. They've done me really well. Um, but I am looking to get some lighter ones. So I might look at some Mountain King ones. Um, we'll see. Uh, so yeah. I don't think there's anything I've sort of ditched though. Like I said, just more upgraded. Like I'd say my head torch, um, shoes. I don't wear calf sleeves anymore. If that counts. If I look at the Chester 50, I was wearing calf sleeves. That was my first ultra race. I don't wear them anymore. But I think that's more. That's just something I needed at the time, and I don't anymore. I'm trying to think what else. Anything else? Again, it's just certain things that I used to wear that I don't anymore. Um, I used to be an ambassador for a clothing brand called Avossi, which is now defunct. So I used to wear a lot of that. Again, I still wear. I've still got some stuff that I throw on for training, run, and that. But what else? I think that's it really. I think yeah, like I said, just stuff like head torches, stuff where you just feel like this has got me through this, but now I need something with a battery life of more than 4 hours. and again, like just upgrading stuff and kit. I tend to do look after and repair as much as I can. I've still got my very first Salomon waterproof jacket. And I use what's it called? Not neck. Like waterproofing stuff, to keep it going. So but yeah, and shoes. Yeah, you just sort of like find what's good for you. I mean, Cascadias are still great, but I wouldn't. I don't think I'd run a 100 miler in them. But I wasn't running 100 miles back then. When I was wearing them for my races. So, but also I now know more about like different shoes for different terrains and stuff like that. And yeah. So it all comes with sort of experience and sort of what your goals are. Your kit sort of evolves with that. But yeah, there's nothing that I don't know. That question wasn't really that, was it? It's not really something I used to swear by, but don't anymore. Hmm, no. Yeah, maybe the calf sleeves. I used to always wear calf sleeves. There's certain nutrition things I don't use anymore, like gels. I used to always have the Mountain Fuel gels. Mountain Fuel are a good company. Don't get me wrong. I like the flapjacks, but I wouldn't use their gels anymore because I use the Voom um, electro bars, which 2 blocks of the bar is one gel. So you use one bar, that's 2 gels. It's less packing. I mean, I guess they're solid bars rather than like fluid gels. So maybe they take more space, but I just find it easier carrying one of them than 2 gels. So yeah, I think that's about it. The next question, which again I think I've covered before, uh, when you want to DNF, what would you use to push yourself forward and carry on? Um, I want to DNF all the time, if I'm honest. Um, there's times where I just don't want to do it, but um, I know later on I'm gonna really kick myself if I don't do it. And I think who was it? Someone said it on the Run Censored podcast, and it really there was a guest on the Run Censored podcast, and it really stayed stayed with me. And it was basically something about I can't remember. It was about some do it for the Monday version of you, or something along those lines. And I was just like, yeah, that is exactly my way of thinking because I I'm such a dick for like kicking myself about stuff. My very first DNF, I think the every time I've DNF'd, it's been unavoidable. Um, but the first time is I broke my toe coming down Devil's Kitchen, if you know Snowdonia. Coming down Devil's Kitchen during the Snowdon Chibi Ultra Snowdon 50, and I just slipped and just landed really awkwardly. Um, basically, I was coming down. I was meant to take a sharp turn right and then a sharp turn left. So it was like almost like a yeah, just like a curve. Um, and I took the first sharp corner right, and instead of turning left, I kept going forward, and I basically went off the edge of a cliff. And it's not as dramatic as it sounds, which I then later found out. So as I was falling, I sort of went to turn around and sort of hugged onto where I fell. My feet basically slammed into the side. It would have been less dramatic. It would have been less. Basically, I probably would have been able to carry on the race if I just fell because it was probably like a 7 foot drop. Because after I was holding on, I didn't pull myself back up. I just sort of realized there's not much of a drop between the bottom of my feet and the ground, so I just dropped myself down and sort of then followed it back round to where I could get back up onto the path. But I realized I broke my toe. Anyway, I digress. So when I got to um, the checkpoint, which was only 25 miles in, ugh, I I realised I'd broken it. Had to put my shoe back on because otherwise my feet would swell and I wouldn't be able to get my shoes back on. Um, and you know what? At the checkpoint, I was fine. I was okay. Um, because I was like, I've broken it. I can't carry on. It's like I can't do another 25 miles on this, 'cause otherwise I'm just going to write myself off completely. But as I got into the car and drove off, I started crying. I didn't cry, but I was like, lump in my throat. A tear went down. Yeah, I did cry. Just not proper crying. Um, so yeah. Where was I going with this? I'm so sorry. Um, so yeah, so basically, I know what I'm like when I DNF because it happened when I DNF'd the Ultra Scotland 100 as well. That was due to kidney failure. Can't can't get around that. But again, I had this sort of, even though it was something completely out of it wasn't anything I'd done wrong. It's just my body on the day. I mean, maybe I did. Maybe I think I overhydrated. And fucked myself. But anyway, but I still had that sort of like, I just don't want to feel that. I also don't want. So when I've wanted to DNF, where am I going with this? I'm so sorry. So basically, when I want to DNF, I just don't want to feel like that, if that makes sense. I don't want to be in the car later on, regretting my decisions, seeing a half done race on um, Strava, like my most recent one. It was so frustrating. 12 valleys. No, 14 valleys. No, 14 peaks. Fucking hell. Get my words out. Which is basically the Welsh 3000s route, north to south. Um, and I was just really unwell on the day. And just looking at that Strava just annoyed me so much. And yeah, that's what annoys me as well. I feel like any kudos I get isn't warranted. And I know that's stupid because I wouldn't think anything of it if anyone else, when I see someone else DNF, I still give them kudos. I still say great effort, well done, for whatever reason they've DNF'd. So I don't get why I'm like that for myself. I should be kinder to myself, but that's why I don't. That's why I push on when I want to DNF. As far as I'm aware, I'll never DNF unless I have to. It will never be because I want to. Um, I think I'm mentally strong enough for that. Like I said, I'm not disciplined in the sense of um, getting to the gym and doing a workout, but I am disciplined in the um, pain tolerance and pushing myself during shit times. I've gone through some quite horrific and traumatic things in my life that I think have made me stubborn. Um, yeah, I've, and this isn't I'm not going to trauma dump, and I'm not going to say I've been through more shit than you. But I've been in some this just the most horrific conditions you can think of. Um, sorry, I'm trying not to cry. Um, so I sort of use. I think that's just made me who I am. That I can just push through stuff unless my body is just like, nah, mate. You know, it's that thing of you listen to your body. I shared a meme yesterday actually saying I always listen to my body, and then my body's saying you're old and you need lasagna. So sorry. Oh fucking hell, my brain's just gone a bit frazzled from tr- nearly trauma dumping on you, which I won't. Sorry, they're never going to happen. Maybe one day, but not today. or the foreseeable future. Um, so yeah, I think that's what it is. Um, I can't call it mental resilience. Some people might, but I don't think it is. I think it's just being the stubborn twat who's gone through a lot worse and is happy to push through whatever is going through my mind at the time. Um, it's also why I will never commit suicide. Sorry to get heavy. I know I've tried it in the past, but I think with my outlook as an adult, because let's face it, when I was 18, 19, I wasn't an adult. Like, I know legally you are, but you're not an adult. Um, you're still a kid. Um, I'll never do it just because it's my way of um, getting through the shit. Um, yeah, let's get off that. It's going a bit dark. I don't mind going dark, but when it's a bit too dark, you know what I mean. We will leave it, leave that at that. Let me just see if I've got anything else in my notes to cover. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I won't drag on. I do have potentially a guest, so in the pipeline. He's currently up here from 280 miles away, so I might grab him while he's here. And yeah, do a little episode of him. So the next episode might be within a couple of weeks, because I'd rather do like my monthly ones as just me, or if I've got someone planned. But if I've got someone, like I said, if I've got time to grab someone and have a chat, record, then I'll do it and just post as and when. So yeah, yeah. Hope you've enjoyed this one, even though it was a bit talking about death and fucking trauma and suicide. Bloody hell. And human behavior, psychotic human behavior. Jesus Christ. Um, I need a drink. I can hear my voice going a bit funny. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. And I need to get back to work. I'm on my lunch at the moment. So yeah, definitely need to do that. Right. I love you and leave you. Hopefully you stuck to this part, and hopefully you come back for the next one. Bye bye.